Donald Trump? Is he part of that?
Donald Trump is one of the gayest people I've ever seen.
Elaborate.
Donald Trump is old school gay. Because, gay guys used to be mean before media training.
And they're nice now.
Gay guys are nice now. I mean, Donald Trump is old school gay where he should have been like a red carpet fashion advisor or something.
Got it.
He should have been standing on the side and being like, that dress, honey, I don't think so. That would have been amazing. I would have watched every night. Instead, he ran for office on a platform of mass deportation. So that's where things got tricky, obviously. But I do think he's very gay.
Comedian Caleb Hearon had this take on Donald Trump. And it wasn't just the president.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about some cis-het male American icons. And can you tell me how you can support their right to express their masculinity? Andrew Tate?
He's walking around in a Speedo, like, talking about other men's physiques and, like, smoking on cigars, which are pretty phallic.
Smoking on cigars is phallic.
The way they puff it, doesn't it evoke a little bit? Don't you? You kind of look at it and you go, okay, someone wishes that was a dick. Don't you think? I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this. I think your listeners know exactly what I'm talking about. Guys who smoke cigars, it's just a little like, okay, what is this? The Sopranos?
Okay.
Anyway, I digress, Ziwe.
Elon Musk.
Stop with the jumps.
Then they would discuss Caleb's space, not necessarily stand-up comedy, but...
Do you think that male podcasters are a community that deserve to determine the election?
Well, no, I wouldn't have that be happening personally. If I could make the world different, I wouldn't have, Joe Rogan, the Paul brothers, and all those guys impacting U.S. democracy. But I guess that is where we're at.
Is that the country we deserve?
Oh, probably deserve. Yeah, I think it's a pretty rough way to start a country the way that we did it, but yeah, probably what we deserve.
And what was the rough way that this country started, to be clear?
Right, so I would go ahead and say slavery, the genocide of Native American people.
Got it.
I would consider that to be rough.
And lastly,
Democrats and Republicans alike are trying to find their base. What is your advice for reaching male audiences in this podcast space?
My advice for Democrats, Republicans are already kind of finding an angle on it. Don't tell people the economy is going well when they can't pay their rent. Make people's lives better. Make their groceries more affordable. But I guess if you want the real answer, or the silly podcast answer, it'd be like, talk about football and barbecue. But I think, like, seriously.
Wait, why did you say that?
Because that's, like, I think there is this conception that, like, men are, like, these, like, basic... like stupid creatures who just want to like talk about dumb stuff. But it's like, well, no, most men, just like most women and most trans people and most people in the country in general, are working class. And a lot of the Democrats' last message was, actually, the economy is going great. But it's not.
one thing I'd like to get back to is this joke of Trump being a gay man, because some have really played into it.
But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me president, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What?
And if there's one thing that we absolutely know about all of this, they will hate it. They will despise it. I've seen this trend on TikTok for quite some time, and every time I do laugh, because the way that Donald Trump, first off, mannerisms, the way that he dances with both hands, the way that he speaks of people that he likes, specifically that story of being in a golf locker room. And this was, I believe, if I'm correct, it was in Milwaukee, I want to say. I'm sorry, it was in Pennsylvania. My apologies. Because that's where Arnold Palmer was born. And this is on the campaign trail. So that quote directly, when he took the showers with other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say, we have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold as a man. It's unbecoming. Unbecoming of a president. It's also unbecoming when someone like him talks about his daughter that way and is unafraid to say pretty grotesque things. Going back to Ziwe and Caleb Hearon, it's a must-watch. I think all of Ziwe's stuff is must-watch. She has been a writer for a long time. I believe she wrote for Jesus and Meryl along with other shows. And then during the pandemic, she started doing Instagram Lives, built up a humongous following, which she already had already, got even bigger. And then she had on humongous names and asked them very uncomfortable questions. Very, very, very uncomfortable questions. What I do think is funny is when someone matches her energy and you see her kind of like go back into a corner and she's not one to answer stuff, but like a great example is the Roy Wood Jr. episode. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Where she asked, what is something that you should, what's some advice that you could tell the American youth? And he just goes, without even a slight pause, leave. The United States of America is a big HOA country. And she was just flabbergasted, like, oh, so there's no hope. Leave. He's like, yes, leave. I remember the Chet Hanks episode. Really weird, but funny. Super funny. The Alana Glazer episode. Awkward, but funny. That's what she's going for. It's really interesting to see how transforming over time, media has become the Barbara Walters to just having fun and laughing, which can be great and also detrimental to the industry, which I've talked about many, 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 many times. Lastly, Caleb Hearon had a great answer on the podcast space. A great answer. And it got me thinking, what could possibly the Dems do? You know, what could they do to try and win over voters? And they're not. They're banking off of Republican incompetence instead of going away from centrism, going away from liberalism, which they won't. And he's right. His answer was fantastic. Saying that the economy is great and people working 2 jobs to get by is not great. It sucks. And then his answer about football in the podcast space, also awesome. So please check out these individuals, Caleb Hearon and Ziwe. They are both fantastic.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.